In the heart of Offa, Kwara State, the future of artificial intelligence came alive. Summit University, Offa, transformed into a sanctuary of intelligence, ambition, and boundless possibility. It was the stage for IndabaX Nigeria 2025, held under the resonant theme, Empowering Nigeria's AI Ecosystem for Sustainable Development. A summit where data met dreams, where algorithms met humanity, and where technology met beating heart of community. Over 2 transformative days, a generation of innovators, scholars, engineers, and changemakers gathered not merely to talk about artificial intelligence, but to shape its trajectory in Africa. Starting with registration, a scene buzzing with energy, laughter, introductions, and strangers became collaborators before the session even began. Day 1 opened with ceremony and solemnity, the national anthem, protocol observances.
I want to once again welcome you to Deep Learning Indaba Nigeria Conference 2025, graciously hosted by our own university, Summit University, Offa, the home of sweet potatoes. Make sure you grab probably a basket of potatoes before you leave Offa for your various destinations. So this year's theme, which is on empowering Nigeria's AI ecosystem for sustainable development, is more than a slogan, it is a call to action. Here we are not just discussing algorithms, we're building solutions. We are not just learning AI, we are using it to drive health, using it to drive education, agriculture, and innovation across every corner of Nigeria. Summit University, once again, is proud to be the launch pad for this national movement, where talent meets tools and where passion meets purpose. So let's get ready to explore, collaborate, and empower ourselves, because the future of AI in Nigeria begins here today with us. And once again, welcome to IndabaX.
And a warm visionary welcome from Professor Abiodun Musa Aibinu, Vice Chancellor of Summit University, Offa.
Welcome to Summit University. I know, and I just want to thank you for, let me start by thanking the Deep Learning Indaba community for finding us worthy to host this event. So today, I can say I'm happy that we are fulfilling that vision and that mission of organizing that this Deep Learning Indaba. So let me just start. First of all, let me welcome you to Summit University Offa, where we shine like the sun. That's our acronym here, Sun Offa, where we shine like the sun. And this is our vision here, that at Summit University Offa, Kwara State, Nigeria, we shall be developing innovation and inventions that will be changing the way we live in our community. We defend our nation and work in Africa. You can see that 2 things are important there, innovations and invention. And I'm sure that is what Deep Learning Indaba is all about, innovations and invention. Because with AI, with emerging technology, is definitely changing the way we defend our nations, the way we work in Africa, and the way we even interact. That's why we have aligned the vision of this great institution with emerging technology. We have been able to attract nothing less than 6 or 7 research grants. The first one, in conjunction with Associate Professor Sekinot and Professor Abikoye and Professor Abduwahi, we jointly attracted artificial intelligence for female in STEM, AI for FS. And again, jointly we attracted another grant called Artificial Intelligence for Women in Agriculture. That AI for FS is just about democratization of AI knowledge, artificial intelligence, especially for the females. Then, open access for research and development, OA for R&D, and then another one, PP for CC, that is bio-maintained production for clean cooking. Then, Delight. Delight simply means democratization of environmental literacy, in post-primary institutions in Nigeria. So what are we saying here is that any knowledge, all those skills, they are not just for the book. We don't want anybody to be saying school na scam. And that's why all our final year projects, we have mandated that you must use artificial intelligence either in the methodology or in the analysis. And when you, for the last 3 years, when you see the title, it must, and when you see the methodology, element of AI must be there. And that's why we have that dream that definitely we must organize deep learning IndabaX. So today is a dream come true.
Dr. Sekinat, the team leader of IndabaX Nigeria, sets the tone to discuss deep learning, machine learning and AI, scientific and technology collaborations across Nigeria and African continent.
So, distinguished guests and respected academics, and our esteemed industrial experts, because IndabaX is a meeting of everybody that have everything to do with AI, and our value sponsors and passionate AI enthusiasts from across Nigeria, because this program is a national one, and everybody here represents our AI micro communities and also every state in Nigeria. So it is my profound pleasure as a team lead for IndabaX Nigeria to welcome everyone to the 6th edition of IndabaX Nigeria, being hosted by Summit. This means a lot to us because eventually Summit University is already on the DLI. So this deep learning Indaba originated from Stellenbosch University in South Africa, and this happened in 2017. And the gathering, the Indaba is in South African word, meaning meeting or a gathering, just like we're having now. And it's aimed at strengthening machine learning. That's the word. Everything that we do today must have one or two things to do with machine learning, which we all know is the brain of artificial intelligence. And this deep learning Indaba is now a movement across Africa. I can boldly say that we have 54 countries in Africa, and as I speak with you, we have close to 52 countries that are joined Indaba, Deep Learning Indaba. So we usually have our annual conference in every country in Africa. So this year, we are going to Rwanda, Kigali, and I can assure you that, believe me, that period of August, everybody is going towards Rwanda. So the motivation behind this IndabaX Nigeria is that we hope that it will become the ultimate central meeting point for all various AI interventions in Nigeria, while we leverage on the established practices of the global Indaba. So I hope that we'll still have some representations from Summit University next year, and I'll make sure to forward the call to Mrs. Ganiat when it is time for next year. So we hope that it will provide a platform to access global knowledge and align local efforts to the Pan-African development focus as on a large scale. So this conference is an important venue for us, I highlighted that, to discuss deep learning, machine learning and AI, and scientific and technology collaboration across Nigeria and the African continent.
Then came the keynote speaker, Engineer Dr. Kola Balogun, placing Africans squarely in the frame of AI revolution, challenging participants to create rather than merely consume technology.
If you recall, we started as a computer service provider, and then it was entry level to the computer. It was this operating system, Unix, Lantastic, and some other new entry into the computer world. We are working on a System 36 on mainframe. So it's hardly people know so much about computing then. So it was that same spirit of ensuring that we uphold technology in all facets with reflection of Nigerian content, and eventually we find ourselves holding on to the database of the prepaid meter concept, and that's what led to where we are today.
The intellectual journey began with Professor Jalil Adeniyi, guiding participants through unmasking the double-edged sword of artificial intelligence in the fight for sustainable futures. His message was clear: AI is as powerful as the intentions behind it. From there, the day unfolded like an intricate algorithm, as learning wasn't confined to papers. It echoed in laughter, in collaboration, in every shared idea, engaging activities like quiz games and breakout sessions. The knowledge sessions began in full swing. Engineer Abdulwahid Musa led a critical session of AI policy frameworks for ethical adoption in West African education.
However, my topic actually initially wants to cover West Africa because this is IndabaX, but ultimately I think we'll just localize it to AI in Nigerian education. Then we'll check the policy frameworks for ethical and inclusive adoption of AI. Okay, so this is me, Abdulwahid Musa. I used to really feel uncomfortable when I'm being addressed as Associate Professor Abdulwahid Musa. I don't think in Nigeria we use that prefix. Because Associate Professor is a rank and not a title. So just leave it as it is. If you don't want, because the problem is some people will say, we won't call you doctor. Well, doctor is actually a title. You cannot have someone, for instance, who is a lecturer 2. I say lecturer 2 Ademola Adebi. So this is the way you can have associate professor this and that. So I think it's okay. Abdulwahid Musa. Primarily, my world of research is in telecommunications and equally disruptive technology. One example of disruptive technology is artificial intelligence. The old order will always be challenged. And I'm quite happy earlier, our VC spoke about the first industrial revolution, whose DNA, like we all know, has to do with, I think, the invention of steam engine. Catalyzed the first industrial revolution, and then the discovery of electricity, mostly attributed to Michael Faraday, signaled the second industrial revolution, and then it was the semiconductors, that propelled the third industrial revolutions. Unlike these other revolutions, the fourth industrial revolution, as well as the now spoken about fifth industrial revolution, does not have one big DNAs. There are several DNAs that came together, and one of them is artificial intelligence. So let's delve into the subject of the matter. As usual, we like to look at where we're coming from and where we are now, so that we'll properly situate it with where we're probably headed. And what I'm going to use has to do with BlackBerry. There was a time that BlackBerry was the king of mobile communication. If you're in this hall during the days of BlackBerry and you do not have BlackBerry, you feel belated. BlackBerry was a very powerful symbol. Presidents, CEOs, and several professionals across the world were used to BlackBerry, and it symbolized access. In fact, in networking, once you just say, give me your PIN, they're talking about BlackBerry, pingy, most people will still remember. However, in fact, BlackBerry was so powerful that at a point in time, the BlackBerry actually controlled over 50% of the market value of smartphones in the US. But all of a sudden, you now had iOS and Android. touch screens as against keypads, app stores replace emails, and then you have flexibility replacing rigidity. And that made people to begin to abandon BlackBerry. You brought out your phone and then you're able to just touch the screens and you are there, instead of actually looking for the keypads. So people began to drop BlackBerry, and from 50% it came down to 0.1% in 2016. And by 2020, BlackBerry died a natural death. I don't think there's anybody in this hall who has a BlackBerry. Even if you have, it's useless. Everyone is into iOS and Android now. So what happened? What's actually the lesson for us here? The lessons are that comfort with the past can blind you to the future. When you are so comfortable with the past, you won't be able to see the future. And that's why I still really love that controversies about the benefit and the demerit of artificial intelligence. There is no single individual who can tell you today that this is where artificial intelligence is leading us. To be honest, nobody. And then the pace at which AI is even actually transcending is quite alarming. So innovation is not just about products, it's about the people. Once people begin to see values in that innovation, like a wildfires, and when they see an alternative, of course they will immediately drop search. Now, when you refuse to adapt, there is going to be a problem, a challenge. And at this rate, technology is moving quite faster. And culture too, and other things that we do must also move very, very fast, if not faster. So this is just like a wake-up call for us in the education sector. The reason why I use BlackBerry is because the way we teach in the past is now different. In the past, I'm not quite happy Baba has left, Professor Bayalawa. We remember how they taught us. The old professors, the way and manner they teach, that kind of method has died a natural death now. Because I don't think there's any university today that you go there and what they still do is maybe writing on the chalkboard. Those errors have actually gone. And the same thing is the fact that when you give student assignment in the past, there were certain things you are testing. But today, it's no more. What is the essence of probably giving you an assignment and you can just bring out any chatbots, any, and then you get the results, the answers. So the question is, are you testing the student on how well they are able to use those chatbots? Because like I said, anybody can bring out phones, even if you are not a student of that department. You are not in physics, for instance. You are in humanities. You can ask a few questions about first, second, third laws of motions, and you will see it. You may not be able to understand what they are saying, right? So your assignment, you turn it out. The lecturer is not there to really check whether you understand what you have written in the assignment or otherwise. So it brings us to the fact that when you give assignment or when you facilitate any class, there is now a new order of facilitating such class, because we are now in the world where it's quite easy for students to learn personally. They could use those tools to learn at their own pace. You are teaching a class of 30 students. The rate at which those students will assimilate quite different. And then when you finish the class, any question, it doesn't mean that all of them understand what you have taught them. But there are some students that they are not comfortable asking questions in class. Or some of them, they feel quite timid to be able to ask certain questions. So, but then, you have a situation where with your chatbot, you can ask it any question. It's between you and the chatbot. Up until when you are able to understand whatever you are asking the chatbot. So there are different ways of how AI is now enhancing student learning. It's also enhancing how teachers also teach. For instance, I was privileged to be an external examiner to PhD students. And then I was just imagining in my head universities that up till now do not do viva voce, a physical way of examining thesis. You know, you just submit your thesis, and then the examiner will examine it, and your PhD will be awarded. I'm sure those universities will now begin to change. They will have to insist on, look, we need to listen to this person who is claiming to have contributed this knowledge. Otherwise, it will have been a ChatGPT that is producing the knowledge, and the PhD will also be wrongly awarded to ChatGPT and not you as the student. So that's why I try to use BlackBerry, because if we do not take some very important precautions, these are the disruptive way in which AI would actually affect our education sectors. However, no matter what the problems are, we are also here to provide the solutions. And between you and me, till thy kingdom comes, there will always be problems. The day problems are no more is the day the world is also no more. That is just the truth. In fact, we are born, well, I usually pride myself as an engineer, of which I am. The VC2 is, so we can't be intimidated here. Engineers feel they are problem solvers, you know, but they are not just the problem solvers. There are different professions too, they are solving problems. It's just that the problems the different professions are solving are quite different. You know, so there is no shortcut to infrastructure, there is no shortcut to energy. You need energy. Think about the world without electricity. You know. And the fact that we're not sleeping is why you now have a situation where there are different sources of energy. In the past, once NEPA or PHCN or whatever, once they do not give you electricity, that's it. But now there are different sources. Different sources. So these are progress that we're making. So in terms of building AI capacity and infrastructure, we need to lay the digital foundations. I'm quite happy with what Deep Learning IndabaX is doing, but we need more of your presence in Nigeria. I'm already toasting Dr. Sekinat. Kwasu is also queuing to host our So it's really a wonderful thing. So we need strategic partnerships. We need local AI talent development. There's need for us to strengthen our human capital. One of the data I pulled out earlier was for Nigeria. So okay, even in Nigeria, which are the top 10 states, you know, that are championing AI in Nigeria? Unfortunately, I couldn't get anything. The reason is simple. Nobody has actually done that research. So if you're a master's student here, or even first degree students, this is a research area for you. You know, regardless of your area, whether it's humanities, social sciences, or artificial intelligence, you can take a look at this. So what I ultimately leveraged on was to use human capital development parameters. And obviously, you guess the states that will come first when that happens. Any response? Lagos. There is no two ways about. What about the second? FCT is number 4. So that's pretty close. You know, we've been robbed off by Lagos many times, so you just don't. Kwara is not there, quite sad. And like I said, what I used was human capital development. You count several states in human capital development before Kwara. But I can bet you, if we have parameters that actually spell out artificial intelligence, Kwara will be among the top 3. There is no doubt about it. And then you collate what Summit is doing in AI, what Kwasu, what Unilorin, what Landmark, all these universities, what they are doing in AI, definitely you see Kwara taking the lead. So, what are the recommendations, the policy frameworks and recommendations? Number 1 is inclusive access. The government needs to do a whole lot on this. And this does not limit it to geographical or socio-economic dispositions. Unfortunately, it's still a challenge because, like we said, energy is still a problem. When you do not want to go to national grid, you want to do your solar, it's quite expensive, you know. So it's not cheap. Energy all over the world is not cheap, regardless of the nature. Unfortunately, that's also why we're buying a liter of a type of energy now for as high as 1,000 naira. The other day I was in a session talking about the fact that a liter of fuel is 1,000 naira, and a die-hard APC supporter came and said, "Sir, a liter of fuel is 940." You know, but that's just by the way. So inclusive access is quite important. Data protection, I mentioned this earlier. There's also content development, and that's why Summit will always take the lead. I looked at, and I'm not blabbing because my guy is here. When I wanted to check my profile earlier, one of the pages that came under my own Musa, and sometimes his own Musa, because it happens a lot. You will see his papers under my Google Scholar. Mine too may also come to his. So it's only whenever I want to edit, I will delete. Me, I'm not you know. So what I'm trying to say in the essence is there was a grade. One of the grants won, you know, championed by Summit, of which were also co-researchers of that's AI for women in aquaculture. So the one that actually came out was great. The one won ahead. So what I realized is that grain, of course, is which country is that? I think what's the name of? Also Kigali, right? Yeah. So that's why you see that they are taking the lead, because they are investing heavily in artificial intelligence. You can imagine, as a matter of fact, there was also the Royal Academy of Engineering. A year after, what happened? They said they will not take input from Nigeria. And I called Prof, what is wrong with these people? Prof, they are anti-dominative, so they don't want us again. But the reason why I'm mentioning Grey Royal Academy of UK is because we as a country, what are we doing? It's not like we're not doing anything, but between you and I, we're not doing enough. NCC, Prof has won the grant. I'm also taking a cue behind it. I won grant of NCC. But they stopped, Prof. In fact, we're supposed to do, what's it called, commercialization, exhibition. They sent invitation to me. They had to shift the date again. The grant itself, they stopped. The last time was the one we won. NITSDA gave us, you know, some grants too. Especially the one championed by the Federal Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy. The grant is as little as 5 million. But yours truly, Prof, we're like into the second year now. In fact, more than second year, almost 2 years. They've not disbursed 5 million completely. Just 5 million. So you can imagine. So these are areas that as a country we need to improve upon. So what are the regional collaboration? Since we're talking about West Africa, or I might just skip this for want of time, we'll go straight to the implementation roadmap. And I put this one in phases. Phase 1, if we have it, is funding foundational buildings, rather. I've spoken about most of these things. Policy framework development, stakeholder engagement, like what we're doing now, and then infrastructure mapping. The phase 2 is the capacity building. How many AI literacy programs do we have? Quite happy, Summit has started degrees in artificial intelligence. But the very frank question is, Nigeria as a country, how readily are we going to integrate graduates of AI into the society? Right? So even if those graduates do not want to go seek for white-collar job, is the atmosphere conducive for them to actually settle down and operate on their own? Many AI startups, they have these challenges. You know. So if you also graduate as an AI expert, how readily are we to actually let you excel in your chosen career? Because there will always be challenges that you need to actually surmount and all that. But the fact is, we're not sleeping, we're actually working towards that. Digital infrastructure enhancement is also very important for capacity building. Phase 3 will need scaling and integration. The National AI Education Strategy, very important. I'm sure the VC will work on developing an AI strategy for Summit. Other universities too, they are taking a cue from here. We need to scale the AI solutions that we have. And so many of the grants already won, they're actually in that area, i.e. aquaculture, and even several other grants that are localized already. So these are very, very important. Phase 4 is what I call sustainability and continuous improvement. We need to monitor how we've been progressing. We need to also evaluate. Like I said, the way we teach students now, we need to also change it. I know if we do a research, you realize that the other day one of our students was graduating, and without apologies, in acknowledgements, the young man put ChatGPT as to be honest, as one of those things that will be acknowledged. So this is an important area that we need to look at. Finally, we need to ask ourselves where we stand, whether AI is going to be an optional thing for us or otherwise. But what I know as a fact is that AI is transformative in nature, and like I said, nobody can actually stop it. Forget about all the negatives. And I'm going to give you one example. The calculator. When calculator was invented, professors of mathematics and doctors in mathematics, they vehemently restricted it. They stood their grounds that they were not going to allow students to use calculator. Right? But think about the world. Calculator is even useless now. I don't have one. And I'm still teaching, I'm still practicing engineering, which the fundamentals is mathematics. So the question then was, you want students not to use calculator, they should still be using 4-figure tables, where you are going to spend maybe like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, trying to find what is cos 90, because you have to read the table and trace all the figures. But you have a calculator that you just punch and is going to give you. So what I'm trying to say in essence, why I bring this analogy of calculator is, even though it was fought against, we have moved beyond the age of calculators now. So that time will also come that what we are trying to fight now, this kind of innovation, there will be time that it will become irrelevant. And that's why I'm going to go back to where I started from, BlackBerry. You saw how very important it was, and now it is also useless. So this, for me, is what we should ponder upon, whether we actually want to stay in the ages of BlackBerry and calculator, or we want to forge ahead. It is on this note that I'm going to round up my presentation.
Breakout sessions across various rooms addressed powerful themes, from ethics in practice to blockchain synergy, remote machine learning, plant disease identification, aligning AI with SDGs, and even how AI shapes moral decisions. Hands-on session explored building AI-powered apps with OpenAI and DeepSeek, creating facial recognition systems, and designing pipelines with LandGraph. The day climaxed with a riveting panel session, Bridging the Gap, AI innovation in urban and rural Nigeria, followed by team bonding. The one closed with a sense of purpose. Conversations not just academic, they were urgent, human, grounded in the everyday realities of Nigerians and the boundless opportunities ahead. Day 2 began with healthy energy and excitement in the air, with partner presentations from Energizer AI Scavenger Hunt to Data Science Network initiatives and Rising Child Foundation's work on digital skills in education. technical sessions pushed the boundaries further, unlocking financial access through AI, designing drone delivery systems, budgeting with tiny ML, and building sustainable AI products for African markets. Ethics remained a cornerstone, with critical discussions on AI in healthcare, agriculture, misinformation, and deepfakes. Special gender-focused sessions created safe spaces to explore representation and participation in the landscape. Poster presentation lit up the venue, showcasing students' research and practical applications. Judges moved from display to display, engaging with the passion and creativity on show. When winners were announced, the applause carried a weight, pride, solidarity, and the promise of what's to come. As closing remark echoed through the hall, one truth was undeniable. IndabaX Nigeria 2025 had been more than an event. It was a catalyst. We played, we connected, we collaborated. We discovered new frontiers not just in artificial intelligence, but in our own capacity to dream, build, and lead. IndabaX Nigeria 2025 reminded the world that innovation is not only about machines, it's about meaning, about people, about the stories and communities that shape the technology we create. From Summit University, Offa, a bold message now travels to the world. Africa is not waiting to be invited to the future. Africa is building it. It was IndabaX Nigeria 2025. Not just a conference, a movement, and it's only just begun.
My name is Abdulrahman Mubarak. I'm a final year student of Summit University, Offa. I'm the winner for the 2025 poster presentation at the IndabaX 2025, and my project topic is interpretability challenges in deep learning for lung cancer diagnosis. The rate of lung cancer mortality, worldwide right now, is very high, and being able to be detected early plays a very, very critical role in survival rates. Project uses a model built with convolutional neural network and transformers. Why I choose convolutional neural network is because it's best known for the efficiency in medical imaging, and transformers because it makes the model understand the image better, which makes it easy for detection of lung cancer. The IndabaX 2025 made me had great connections, and I met with new people. So IndabaX 2025 was fun, and I look forward to IndabaX 2026.
Assalamu alaikum to everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, where you are watching this video. I'm Mrs. G.K. Afolabi Yusuf, the chairperson for IndabaX 2025 conference held at Summit University, Offa, located in Offa, Kwara State, Nigeria. And our slogan is Sun Offa, where we shine like the sun. What inspired us is the world is moving towards artificial intelligence, emerging technology, and fourth industrial revolution. It's high time we all be part of it, unless we left behind in the world of technology. That's why Summit University has mandated that all the students at Summit University must be artificial intelligence experts, or they must be artificial intelligence enthusiasts. And that's why final year projects across all disciplines as elements of artificial intelligence into it, whether you are adopting artificial intelligence tools or you are providing models using artificial intelligence algorithms and the like. So that's our major inspiration. What excites me about this gathering? Upon seeing lots of experts, industry experts, academic experts, research experts on artificial intelligence on the soil of Summit University of Offa, is a great joy and accomplishment for me. This goes a long way in my career path, hosting the largest gathering of artificial intelligence experts as a faculty member of the Department of Computer Science at Summit University goes a long way. And also, it is impactful to our students because all final year students that are graduating this month are participants of this conference. These alone have created networking platforms for them, collaboration on their research area with experts in the field, and they have also learned from the experts, from their challenges, from the problems they have solved, and the solutions they have put back to all these problems. And I believe this collaboration and networking will continue from here. It will not stop here. So what does this opportunity mean to Summit University? In fact, these have paid the grant and have also ringed the bell across Nigeria and Africa that Summit University Offa is an artificial intelligence-based institution, and we are working towards emerging technology and producing graduates that are industry ready and artificial intelligence ready and the fourth industrial revolution ready, and they are emerging technology experts in all ramifications across all fields, whether microbiology, whether mass communication, business admin, accountancy. All our students are artificial intelligence inclined. What message do I have for young Nigeria who may be interested in AI research? Keep on learning. Learn, unlearn, and relearn. Okay, if you run a code today and it's not working, that doesn't mean you should dump it. Go and relax and keep on doing it. Someday, sometime, you are going to make an impact.
IndabaX was a great adventure for me, if I could say it like that. So I actually learned a lot from it, and it's actually given me a lot of exposure, interaction with other people from other universities, institutions, and of Nigeria. So it was a great event. My section that I love most was the UIS experience, because I'm into UIS design, and it was really straightforward, and it really helped me in a lot of ways that I am facing some difficulties, and it was really amazing.